Good evening and welcome back. In our last tutorial we went ahead and set up the idle animation for our character. So here's my character. He's kind of like rather intensely breathing. In this tutorial we're going to go ahead and do a crouching animation for our character. We're going to do the crouching animation first because we actually need to do a jumping animation later, and it's just easier to make a crouch from the jump from the crouch than it is to do a to do the other way. It just makes more sense. So I'm going to go ahead and save this out. So this is my idle. You can see I'm under my simple character idle. I'm going to save this as idle pose. And the reason why I'm saving it as idle pose is this is going to be a little bit different than my idle animation. And I'll go ahead and save it. So what I'm going to do here that's different is this. I'm going to go up and select all by type, joints. And all I want is the first frame. I don't care about the rest. So I'm going to go ahead and select this middle frame. And I'll go ahead and delete that off. And you can see from here to here there are no changes in animation. And I'm going to leave this as is because I might find a situation where I need that ending frame. But I don't need the middle stuff. So go ahead and save this. And now I'll save it as crouch. Simple character crouch. And we don't need this last frame, frame 48. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. It shouldn't take us more than like 12 frames to crouch, so I'm going to go ahead and drop this down to 12. Cool. And you can see from here at this position, I don't have anything really keyed. I don't have anything up. Make sure everything is selected. I'm going to hit S key, key everything. That way we have his beginning position. And I also need a couple analogs so I can see where my feet are going to be. So I'm going to hit this little square. I'm going to snap that to my foot. So hold down the V key and then drag and snap it right there. Control D will duplicate, and I will just drag the new one to here. And it doesn't look like it, but I do actually have two new ones. So there's one here and there. If you don't remember what wireframe is, it is 4 on the keyboard. Okay, so I need those there so I can see what happens when I lower my character. So let's go ahead and get into crouching position. So I'm going to come over to frame 12. And I want, when my character crouches, for his hips to go lower. And if you ever tried taking a crouch position from a standing position like this, go ahead and try it right now, actually. But if you've never done that before, you'll find that it's difficult to keep your feet exactly where they are. Some adjustments have to be made. So plan for that. Either he's going to take a step, or his legs are already far apart to compensate. But so what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to go into my side view. I'm going to lower my character down, but I'm also going to pull him back because his hips are going to come back. Okay. Now I will move his legs into the appropriate position. So this leg, I'm going to rotate forward. And this one, I'm going to be here. Now I am, of course, on frame 12. If you're making adjustments on frame 1, you're making a mistake. Back up and go to frame 12. Now how low you make your character go when he's crouching, that's up to you. I think he's probably fine for my needs. Okay, so that's there. This one, I'm going to move up. and then back. Gonna rotate the hip. You can see this one is through the floor, so I need to bring it up. And then the knee back. One of the downsides about working in perspective is it's difficult to see exactly where you are. I'm going to go into a side view. Then my front view. Now the character is kind of awkwardly posed. He wouldn't actually be able to stand this way. His center of gravity is off his stance. He would just fall back. So I do need to move him. I can either move him deeper with a wider crouch, or I can rotate him his upper body forward, which I will do. And I'll also rotate the hips so that he is pitched a little bit more forward. Bring those up. Oops. Where are you? You should be looking forward. I'll turn the color on so I can see that's 6 on the keyboard. I'll bring the arms up just a tad. He might be crouching, but he's not defenseless, you know. Let's go from here and then see how the crouch works. You can see him taking that crouch. Now, the thing you want to try to avoid, you can see the legs are sliding off and then sliding back, and that's something you want to avoid. Now that happens because rotation order matters, and as you rotate a gimbal, Maya actually rotates the X, Y, and Z position in a different order. So it might rotate the X position first and then rotate the Z or the Y or vice versa. I believe it's set up for X, Y, Z at the moment. I think that's what I have mine set to. If I select the joint, for example, and go into attributes, my rotation order is X, Y, Z. That means that that's the order that they will update in. So as I go and rotate one joint, let's say in the X position, that position updates first, and then the others get updated. So that's why they kind of slide out and then slide back. So I'm going to kind of go in here and kind of find a spot. So right around frame 6, you can see how they've kind of slid off. Well, we don't want that sliding off action. We want these to be on position. I'll actually move the hips back. And all I'm doing is realigning the feet with my placeholders. Okay. So from here, you can see as he's starting to crouch, it's a little better. Now again, because of rotation order, you can see there's a bit of a swivel action going on. This leg is swiveling around the position I want it to be in. Just be aware of that so that you can keep an eye on how these are going to rotate and change position. And if you want to have, of course, the crouch lower, you just move the hips lower and the legs accordingly. But that'll do it for my crouch. Now we don't have to worry about making a standing position from the crouch, because if we play this forward, we crouch, right? And then if we run this backwards, we stand. So we don't have to make an extra animation. We actually have 2 for the price of 1 in this case. Okay. I'm going to say this is good enough here, just for the sake of the moment. He is awkwardly shaped, so I really can't get him much lower without taking the hips to the floor. Alright. But I do want to clear static channels, so select all by type, joints, and then delete by type, static channels. That way we don't have anything extra being stored. Okay. If you don't need your little analogs, you can go ahead and, or your little placeholders, you can delete the placeholders. I'm going to leave them on for now, just in case I need to make any edits later. And then I will see you in the next video. Make sure you save, of course, this as crouch.